We are standing now at the beginning of the period called Ben HaMetzarim, literally in the narrow places, or Shloshet HaShavuot, the 3 weeks between the 17th day of Tammuz and Tisha B'Av. The Mishnah in Masechet Ta'anit mentions 5 matters which occurred to our forefathers on the 17th of Tammuz. On the 17th of Tammuz, the tablets were broken, the daily offering, the Tamid, was nullified, the city walls were breached, Apostemos burnt the Torah scroll, and an idol was placed in the sanctuary. Even without a deep learning of this Mishnah, it is clear that it speaks of different periods in history. The breaking of the tablets belongs to the generation of the wandering in the desert. This is the first severe breakpoint in the relationship between the people of Israel and God. In a way, it is an anticipation of the destruction before the temple was even built. The daily offering, Tamid, was nullified. This, of course, belongs to the time of the temple. The building itself is still standing, but the everyday activity, which was supposed to take place regularly, is completely damaged. The city walls were breached. The city is, of course, Jerusalem. The event mentioned here is a crucial stage on the way to the destruction of the temple, the second temple, in the year 70. As for the fourth and fifth events, Apostemos burnt the Torah and an idol was placed in the sanctuary, it is uncertain what exactly are these events. In my opinion, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that we have here a collection of events that may not be the destruction itself, but clearly predict the approaching disaster. These events are the reason why we decrease our joy and practice customs of avelut during this period. For many of us, this sadness might seem artificial and irrelevant. After all, it's been almost 2,000 years since the destruction of the Second Temple, and it's quite difficult for a person of our times to feel true sadness for a disaster which took place so long ago. Midrash Eicha Rabbah presents an interesting approach to the subject of being able to identify with a tragedy long time after it happened. The Midrash tells us about Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, Rabbi Yehuda, the redactor of the Mishnah. And he had 24 different interpretations for one verse from the scroll of Eicha. Bila Adonai velo chamal, et kol neot Yaakov haras be'evrato. The Lord has laid waste without pity all the habitations of Yaakov. Whereas Rabbi Yochanan, who lived many years after him, had 60 interpretations on this verse. The Midrash explains, it's not because Rabbi Yochanan was greater or smarter than Rabbi Yehuda, but because Rabbi was closer to the destruction of the temple. These are the words of the Midrash. And therefore, he would remember, expound, cry, and be consoled. While Rabbi Yochanan, who wasn't so close to the destruction, could go on expounding and interpreting. In other words, it's the distance from the disaster that enables us to discuss it. It should be noted, Rabbi Yehuda himself lived about 150 years after the destruction, which means he only heard about it from the elder people and did not experience it himself. And yet the sages of the Midrash see him as someone who was close to the event and therefore unable to speak about it without crying. I believe this story bears a lesson for our generation as well. The question what we are mourning about and how do we mourn when it comes to a national disaster is not a matter of how much time has passed. It depends on how connected we feel, how meaningful the event is for us. And in that sense, the destruction of the temple has changed Judaism completely. It was a breakpoint caused by great hatred within the people of Israel. And in that sense, it is still relevant. Indeed, we live in an era of Atchalta de Geula, the beginning of redemption, but we still have so much more to fix. Shavua Tov from Schechter.